Welcome to Fortress of Faith with Tom Wallace, calling North America to repentance and revival.
Well, we're back once again at the corner of truth and courage. You're listening to Fortress of Faith. This is Tom Wallace. Well, I hope you had a great weekend. Over the weekend, I received an email from one of our listeners, and I do appreciate hearing from our listeners. Sometimes some of you guys don't agree with what I say. I get that. Some people can be quite rude in their emails, but I do always appreciate emails that, show concern or, for something I said that they felt they need to share with me their concerns. And I really appreciate the spirit of this email from Canada. I had made in my last broadcast, I was talking about our concerns of our destruction of our country here in America. I see it going on in Europe, Canada. Our countries are losing its faith, its Christian heritage. And I made a statement about the decline of the birth rate. There's a consequence. My point was this, and I don't want you to lose this. And I think this is going to open up a good subject, good thing for us to talk about here today, about nationalism. Is it wrong to be a nationalist, to be proud and stand for the values of your nation? We're going to look into the Bible for some answers on this because of what I talked about last week, the email, and it just, brought some thoughts there that this is a discussion we've had before on this program a long time back. But I think we need to focus on this subject. But again, back to the subject, or what brought this about, I talked about because of the decline of the birth rate here in America, Canada, especially in Canada, we've seen this, that there are so many foreign-born people now in Canada who are born in another country who've immigrated there. And the risk with any nation doing this is that they lose their national heritage. And I suspect the person who emailed me was nationally born. And so let me just make a comment or two so that I'm better understood. I am certainly not against immigration. I was an immigrant. I lived 29 years of my life in another country as an immigrant, foreign born. And I'm grateful to the nation that received me. England became my home. I regret not becoming a British citizen. I always had permanent residence in the country since I was 16 years of age. I thought I was always going to live there. I didn't need anything more. I could enjoy everything that a citizen could, except I couldn't vote. I couldn't become a member of parliament, and I couldn't join their armed forces. Well, two of the three I wasn't interested in. I wouldn't mind voting, but I could influence voters, and I did. But now that God moved me back to America, which I didn't see that coming, I really missed that. I wished I did have my British citizenship because it's very much my home. But I don't think that there's any problem with foreign-born people being in your country and immigrants. I'm not trying to sound, to be a racist. In fact, we're going to get into what the Bible refers to, the stranger in the land. There's some teaching that is not being taught on that, and it's valued. You should have, God has a lot to say about strangers in the land, how they should be treated kindly and welcomed and loved and stuff. But there is also a caveat with that. The caveat with that is that they should be expected to live as God expects all Jews to live in the land. You come to our land, we're going to love you, we're going to welcome you, but you're going to live by our laws. You're going to assimilate into our ways. Let's get into this subject of nationalism. And I want to begin with the biblical, with this biblical principle. And it begins in Acts chapter 17, verse 26. And I believe if every Christian was mindful of this passage, we could dispel some of the arguments that are out there about racism and nationalism. Now, Acts chapter 17, verse 26, the Bible says this, and speaking of God, and he hath made of one blood all nations of men. So we come from one blood. Not one is more important than the other. Not one is superior and another is inferior. We are all one blood. There is not in God's view, different races. Racism and racist building of a variety of races is a man-made invention. God didn't bring that to us. Man made that up. Okay? Now, God did give us nations. He didn't give us races. There's only one race. We're all of the human race. We're children of God. And we all value. We all matter to God. But he did give us nations. So let me read the verse again. And hath made of one blood all nations of men to dwell on the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed, and hath bounds of their habitation. So not only has God created different empires and nations to rise up at certain times that they were appointed to rise up. You had the Greek Empire. Well, back before you even there, you had the Persians and all that stuff there, and the Babylonians and these empires, the Egyptian Empire and dynasties. But God is appointed for that time, for those times to be appointed. And get this, and the bounds of their habitation. So there is literally the design of God for boundaries for your nationality. So it's okay to have a boundary. It's okay to say, hey, from this river, to this sea, or to this mountain, or to this whatever line, this is our habitation. This is the boundary of our nation. Now, God did not desire, though, for us all to be one people, and that is the new mindset of the world. We want to throw away our nationality. We want to all come together. It shouldn't be fair that one nation is enjoying riches and prosperity, and while others are suffering. We want to tear down the boundaries, the walls, and we want to all become one people. We're not going to say one way is better than another way. And again, that brings me to some thoughts that I had about Canada, what I said in Friday's show. Justin Trudeau, up in Canada back in 2015, he said that, he wants Canada to be a post-national Canada that has no core identity. No core identity. He doesn't want Canada to identify as any particular, no mainstream, he said as well. We're not all just one thing. We're going to be a blend of anything and everything. And I'm here to say that's foolish. That's dangerous. When you have people coming together for so many diversities, Amos chapter 3, verse 3, the Bible gives a very good question. Can two walk together except they be agreed? If you don't have an agreement in your society, in your culture, in your nationality and identity, then you're going to bring conflict. You're only inviting conflict. Now, can some diversity be good? Yes, at some levels, diversity is great. We can learn one from another, from one culture to another. But, there are some things that just cannot be blended together. And you may have a homogenization for a temporary time, but, things begin to settle and things begin to separate, and then you're going to have conflict with that. And God, as I said, God didn't desire for everyone to be together. Remember in Genesis, in chapter 11, here they are, the mankind came together and they all, they're in Babylon and said, we're going to, the idea is that we can control our destiny. We can be our own God. And that coming together can create some bad ideologies. And that's what was going on there in Genesis chapter 11 in Babylon. And God did something there for a purpose. there was a problem in the habitations of the earth coming together. And so he confounded the language of all the earth in Genesis chapter 11, verse 9. The Bible says, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. And as we read already in Acts chapter 17, verse 26, that there are boundaries for our habitations. But yes, we're all one blood. All the nations, plural, of men are one blood. We're still children of God. We all value. Not one is superior and one is inferior. But there becomes a danger when you say, well, we are going to just be anything and everything. We're not going to have a cultural identity. We're going to stand for whatever, wherever the wind blows, we're going to follow it. Folks, that is a dangerous ideology. And I suggest to you that that if it's coming in your society, and this is the language of your politicians, you need better politicians. You need ones who will stand for your national identity. There's nothing wrong or sinful about that. To be proud of your nationality and to desire for you to come together and build a one great nation in your nation. That's what America started out to be. People say, well, didn't you Europeans take advantage of the Indians and the Canadians up there, the original people, the Indians up there and stuff? Yes, and that's a good point to say, you should build walls and protect your borders, because if you don't, someone will come in and take away what is yours. That's why you should take a stand for what you want to protect and build boundaries and borders to keep out those who will want to take what you have. And it's just like your home. Very clear in the Bible there that a strong man armed keepeth his house in safety, as it teaches us in the book of Luke. How important it is for us to keep our house in safety. Same thing's true with our nation. Well, tomorrow when we come back, I want to dive a little deeper into some of these thoughts and get into the Bible teaching on strangers in the land, how we're to deal with that, and I think it will be a benefit to you. Well, before we go, let me quickly remind you that we're in our spring fundraising campaign. Thank you for those who have given. And some of you probably still are out there saying, I plan to give, and I was meaning to give last week, and I forgot to call or forgot to send in our donation. Well, here's the week that you can do that. There's 3 ways you can give. One, you can give safely, securely online at our website, fortressoffaith.com, fortressoffaith.com. And secondly, you can call and give a donation over the phone. And we have some easy numbers to remember. 800-616-0082. Again, that number is 800-616-0082. If you want to give by check, please give us a call. We'll be glad to give you the address, or go online at fortressoffaith.com. That's going to be it for today. Join us again tomorrow at the Corner of Truth and Courage. God bless you.